the state of South Dakota has put a new law into place. It goes into effect on July 1st. It was passed by the Republican-controlled legislature, signed by the Republican governor. And this law that we will start seeing pop up in other states across the country allows anyone in the state to file a challenge against anyone else in the state over their citizenship and strip them of their right to vote. And then it is up to the person who lost their right to vote to go and prove to the state, hold up, I'm actually a citizen, I'm allowed to vote. And of course, if they do not do that, they lose the right to vote. They have turned the entire citizenry of South Dakota into what we all learned about with the Nazis. Report your neighbors. Call them in. Even if you just suspect something, you may not have hard evidence, but you know what? Make the call. Skeets here says McCarthyism 2.0. That is exactly what this is. Everybody is their eyes and ears. You don't have to have the evidence. You just have to say, I don't think this person is up to snuff. Take away their right to vote. Now, granted, the state will not just immediately take away their right to vote. However, it will put basically a red flag into the system on that individual. Meaning, if they do attempt to go in to vote, even while an investigation is taking place, it could be hard. You could have these clerks say, no, we actually cannot give you a ballot. We'll give you the provisional ballot that may or may not end up being counted. This is all a form of voter suppression, but this is a creepy new level we have not seen before. We are in the era, when it comes to voting here in the United States, of pre-crime punishment. Pre-crime. You, the individual, have to go and prove that you did not pre-commit the crime that they think you're going to commit by voting illegally. It's Minority Report. Except the pre-crime is not, oh, you're going to commit murder in the future, so we're going to arrest you now. The pre-crime is, we think you're illegal, and we definitely think you're also going to vote, so we're going to go ahead and make your life a living hell. We're going to punish you in advance for something that did not happen, something that even if it did happen, we have laws in place to where we can prosecute you, and we know how to, do that. We know how to find you. But we don't want to do that. That's a lot of work on our side. So we're going to suppress you in advance, and you do all the work. That's not how voting works here in the United States. That's not how it's prescribed in the United States Constitution. Will this South Dakota law spread across the United States? 100%. Wouldn't shock me to learn right now that other red states looking at this are working on their own drafts right now. This has ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council. This has their fingerprints all over it. And this is what happens. You take a state that nobody pays attention to for the most part. Go to that state, try to do your things. If you can get them done, great. That shows the other states how to do it. If it doesn't even work, no harm, no foul. Nobody was paying attention anyway. Years ago, I know Wisconsin is like, a hotbed of politics these days. Years ago, it was not. Years ago, nobody paid attention to Wisconsin in federal elections. And that was until the Koch network, combined with ALEC, came in there and put in a governor named Scott Walker. You may remember that name. And under Scott Walker, they were like, all right, bud, here's what we're going to do. we're going to start killing the public sector unions. Okay. We're going to get rid of teachers' unions. We're going to, basically strip them of all their collective bargaining, all their rights, all their benefits, all their pay, and do some other things. By the way, we also need a lot of oil and gas exploitation in your state. And Wisconsin, because nobody was paying close attention, was like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Well, that garnered national attention. That is when ALEC became exposed. That is when the Koch brothers finally emerged from just these, left-wing conspiracy theories, which weren't conspiracy theories. But you know what I mean? That put it on the map politically. But after Wisconsin was successful, same thing happened in Florida a couple months later. Then it went to Texas. Then it went to all these other red states. Laboratories of democracy is what the states are called, and they're called that for a reason. And what's happening in South Dakota right now is what's going to happen in red states all over the country before